weapons permit, partner? Do you have a concealed weapons permit?
It's my sir, like I can't ruin my career.
Hey, partner.
On July 29, 2020, a police officer in Louisiana pulled over a speeding vehicle on the highway. What he encountered next would send chills down the spine of any ordinary civilian. Let's look at the chain of events that turned out to be an unforgettable event. The driver, named Mitchell, exceeded the speed limit by almost 20 miles per hour and didn't have a driver's license. The lack of a license alone could result in fines up to $500 and 6 months of jail time, in addition to the speeding ticket. The officer suspected that Mitchell might be under the influence of drugs, so he inquires whether he had any drugs in the car. The officer wanted to charge him more than just a DUI, driving under the influence. Mitchell was speeding in a car that smelled of marijuana, making the officer suspect there might be more to this traffic stop. Mitchell's behavior grew increasingly suspicious as the officer considered searching the vehicle for other drugs. Although the police officers were looking for drugs, particularly marijuana, they found something more sinister: multiple bullet holes on the left side of the car. It turned out that the car was registered to someone with a different surname and a different address. The officer confronted him about the lies. Mitchell initially claimed to live in Woodsboro, but the car was registered Monroe, and he had a Richwood address on his GPS device. The officer questioned why Mitchell would try to deceive the officers with false information. The situation had become extremely confusing for the officer. Mitchell was lying about his address, and it turned out he was driving a car that was reported missing and involved in a potential theft. The vehicle also had bullet holes, adding to the mystery. Suddenly, a random man showed up, claiming that his family was looking for Mitchell, but he gave a different name than Mitchell's. The officer is determined to get to the bottom of it all. It appears that Mitchell's brother allowed him to use a stolen car, but the officer is still unsure about the reason for the bullet holes. The lies about the address, and the appearance of the random man looking for Mitchell. As the officer made more calls, it was revealed that the missing person, Michael Robinson, was actually the alleged brother of the boy, Mitchell, who was driving the car. Michael had permitted Mitchell to use the car, but he was still uncertain who owned the car initially. The officer decided to search the vehicle again, and in the trunk, he made a shocking and gruesome discovery: the body of Michael Robinson. Everything started to make sense at once. Mitchell was extremely nervous and had lied about his address and driver's license status. The officer immediately detained Mitchell and called for a supervisor and backup. Turned out that Michael Robinson was not related to Mitchell. He had become an unintentional victim during an armed robbery in which Mitchell was involved earlier. Mitchell shot Michael during the robbery and drove away with the body in the trunk. He was caught while speeding on his way to dispose of the body in Woodsboro. Mitchell is now facing charges for the armed robbery and second-degree murder of Michael Robinson. The evidence against him, including the discovery of the body in the trunk, will likely result in a harsh sentence. Once the trial concludes, he will likely serve a life sentence. A date was scheduled for Michael Mitchell's trial in connection with the armed robbery and shooting of Michael Robinson in July 2020. The trial took place on August 29th. Mitchell had chosen to waive his right to a jury trial, but a judge heard the case instead. Mitchell was subsequently indicted for second-degree murder in November 2020 concerning the death of Michael Robinson. According to the affidavit, he and another suspect, Cameron Poe, planned and executed the robbery in Richwood. Poe allegedly shot Robinson multiple times with a handgun during the robbery, resulting in his tragic death. Subsequently, Mitchell drove the vehicle to Woodsboro with the intention of disposing of the body and car at a location allegedly provided by Poe. Cameron Poe was also charged with second-degree murder. However, Mitchell later changed his statements about Poe's involvement, leading to the charges against Poe being dropped. The trial will now determine Mitchell's guilt in the incident and the consequences he will face for his actions. That's the whole story for today, and don't forget to hit the like button. Do follow our channel to get updates on events and press the bell icon to be notified of our latest videos.